Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am Pat from Show Me Retro. So while everyone was anxiously waiting for a Switch Pro announcement any day now, Nintendo drops the news of an OLED model upgrade. What are my thoughts on this? Well, stay tuned and let's find out. Show Me Retro. So essentially what you're getting here for an additional $50 over the current Switch V2 is a 7-inch OLED display versus a 6.2-inch LCD display, an improved wider stand over the thinner kickstand, enhanced audio, not exactly sure what that means, and a wired Ethernet port on the dock with a release date of October 8th. Now, there was no mention of any other hardware upgrades. This is not a Switch Pro. I don't think they're going to add that at the last minute. Personally, I think that because this was announced, the Switch Pro is probably further off than a lot of people anticipate. I believe it is coming, but my feeling is it's going to be at least 10 months to a year from now, from the October release date of this one, because I think a lot of people who may be waiting for an upgrade or have been holding out for a while, if there are people still out there like that, they're going to be pretty upset if they plunk down $350 plus tax and then within a few months they release a Switch Pro for, say, $50 more. My feeling is this is just kind of like what they did with the DS, all the different iterations of the DS going to the 3DS and then the 3DS to the new 3DS XL. Those types of things where Nintendo loves to do these little enhancements, and a lot of people may like them, but a lot of people kind of get burned on those types of things. Almost like a 32X in between the Genesis and the Saturn. It's just something to tide people over, but I do think there'll be probably some time between the release of the Switch Pro from this OLED model. So what do I think of these upgrades? Well, I mean, honestly, for an additional $50, it's not a bad deal. You're getting that larger screen, which is great for games like Diablo and Doom, which really need that bigger screen because they're such grand games. You want to be able to read the dialogue better. You want to be able to experience that game on a bigger screen. So playing in handheld mode, this is really going to help out to get almost an additional inch of screen space. But I think a lot of people will be disappointed. Now, if you're familiar with OLED, this is really exciting because, you know, with phones and TVs, the Vita, for instance, the quality of that screen is phenomenal. But at the same time, I think a lot of people were just wanting a 4K resolution in handheld, or at least a 4K resolution in docked mode. And you're still getting 720p in handheld mode with this new OLED model, which a lot of people will probably not be happy with. But my concern is a lot of the accessories. Now, Nintendo is claiming that a lot of the things that you currently own will still work with this model. Mainly probably things that hook up to the Joy-Cons because they are essentially the same thing. My issue is with something like, say, a Skull & Co grip, which I absolutely love and I use, you know, all the time. I play probably 80% in handheld mode, and the Skull & Co, the grip that they have, it fits over that thing, and obviously with that extra screen size, it's not going to fit. There's no way that, you know, it doesn't look like the bezel has been reduced enough to where you're going to get that same exact size and then all these other improvements. So there's certain things that just aren't going to carry over. But is it something I would buy? I don't know. Right now I've got my Switch really the way I like it. The screen protector is on so perfectly, which I'm very anal about. I've got the grip that I love, and it'll be a while probably before accessories start to kind of trickle through from the companies like Skull & Co on this new model. So those are the things that I'm kind of holding me back. I don't like holding the Switch without a grip. I just don't. It's too thin. It's like holding a cell phone without a case on it. It just doesn't feel right. They're too thin in your hand, and it's not as ergonomic as it could be. I still love the Switch. You know, I was a latecomer to it. I was literally 3 years before I committed to buying a Switch. Now, once I did, I really fell in love with it. But with all that being said, I think this is something that I'm going to hold off and probably not buy when it is released in October, mainly because I think all of these new features and enhancements are going to be carried over to the Switch Pro, which will eventually come out. And I can wait for that. The main two things that really, of all of these improvements, that really kind of make me want to buy this is the extra 0.8 inches of screen size and the OLED display. Everything else I really don't technically need. The Ethernet port, right now I'm not running an Ethernet port to my switch dock. The enhanced audio I really don't use because I usually use a Bluetooth adapter with a wireless earbud, and the stand is covered up by my Skull & Co grip. So the main two things are the screen and the size of it that I really am intrigued by, but I think I can wait until this new model is officially announced, and I think it will be probably now. It could be spring of 2022, it could be fall, hard to say, but I do think it's going to be pushed back, or this wouldn't have been announced. I think this is something just to shut people up and just get them through until they can line out all the specs and work out all the kinks for the release of the Switch Pro. I think the decision is going to be much harder for the people that were holding off on getting a Switch and waiting for the Pro, and now they're going to be like, man, you know, can I really wait until spring or fall of 2022 to get a Switch when I've been waiting this whole time? And now this one kind of, you know, it sounds like it sort of checks some boxes, but just not quite. And honestly, I don't even know what I would tell someone in that position. And probably, if you've waited this long, you can probably wait another 6 to 10 months if that's going to be the case. Personally, I think the Switch is a good buy right now as it is. It's a great console, and it's one of those that, again, I tell people, if you don't own one, you probably don't know what you're missing. And I say that because I was in that boat, and once I got one, kind of came around to it. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Is this new OLED Switch model, is it something that you would purchase day one? Are you kind of like me, a wait and see? Are you like, no way, none of this is worth the extra $50, I want a Switch Pro? Or do you think Nintendo shouldn't have even released this model at all and just said, hey, we're going to be coming out with a Switch Pro, it just won't be until sometime in 2022? Alright guys, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, it really helps out. Alright, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.